of Fasal, which is an precision agriculture startup. We started back in 2018 with the idea to help farmers make more informed and data-driven decision. A lot has happened in last 6-7 years. Um, Agriculture has taken a really important shape in terms of utilizing IoT, AI, and some of these advanced technology to improve farming practices for farmers. Without further delay, I'll start with the presentation. So there are certain very core problems that we face in agriculture without without Fasal or without a technology like Fasal. Three of the important challenges that we have seen over a period of time is the way farming happens in this country is mostly based upon intuition, based upon the knowledge transfer that has happened from previous generation to this generation. Most of the time, we see that all these decisions that farmers make on their farm with respect to day-to-day irrigation, day-to-day fertigation, and disease and pest management is through assumptions and guesswork. We have also seen that this leads to a lot of resources, or rather saying poor utilization of very, very valuable resources like water, fertilizer, and other inputs that farmers use. Another problem that happens because of improper use of resources and improper practices is we impact climate, because overuse of natural resources like water and some of the inputs that we use in agriculture leads to a lot of climate related problem. Agriculture also contributes to roughly 20% in the national greenhouse gas emission across the country. These problems have been spiraled over a long period of time, and now we have become aware of these problems and we are trying to solve it. The consequences of these problems is that if you look at India as a country, despite accounting for one of the largest vegetable producer in the world, India has a very, very low export ratio. We roughly export 1.5% of the overall produce that we grow in India. The reason for that is very, very high residue. So we are not able to basically export it to certain countries where the residue restrictions are very high, for example, Europe. It also leads to poor harvest. We don't really have a very, very robust technology in terms of post-harvest management, which also results into low exports and also lack of infrastructure such as warehousing facility or cold storage. Another consequence of improper practices that we follow leads to a lot of wastage in terms of water. If you look at water as a resource, a lot of us have mostly thought about water is available as a commodity, but if you look at closely, 90 to 95% of fresh water that is used in agriculture is actually goes for a waste. Because most of the time, what we have seen over a period of time, even working with farmers using Fasal, we have realized that majority of the farmers were always over-irrigating. The problem with over-irrigation is multifold. It not only leads to wastage of water, but it also leads to wastage of nutrients in the soil because leaching happens and it drains the nutrients along with the water. There is also a huge problem in terms of production gap. So if you look at, probably compare two different states, you'll realize that at one state is very good at production of certain commodity versus the other state is very poor. If you take an example of Gujarat and Bihar, both produces potato, are the major producers of potato, but Bihar produces 39% less potato despite having the double the production area. It happens because of inefficient practices. It happens because of weather and soil. Now, what we feel is that the solution to at least majority of this problem lies in how we follow different practices at farm, and those can be improved significantly by the use of advanced technologies like AI and IoT to understand what is really happening and then make very, very precise and accurate decision at the farm level itself. Now, if I in general talk about what are the different advantages that we see when we go for advanced solution like IoT and AI on farm, One of the important benefit that we see is reduction in the very, very important resources such as water, fertilizers, which also leads to cost savings, which also leads to, so if you treat your crop well, the crop will also treat you well. So if you utilize resources properly, if you provide what is needed, then you see the impact on the quality and the quantity of the produce. Also, by optimizing resources, the quality of the produce increases, the residue decreases, and which makes it more export ready. And all that also leads to, indirectly leads to sustainability impact in terms of saving water, in terms of reducing the greenhouse emission. So Fasal essentially is a precision agriculture company where we utilize IoT and AI as a technology to provide very real-time data on conditions, on farm conditions. We capture real-time data from the farm through different sensors to deliver very, very farm-specific, very crop-specific, and cross-crop stage-specific actionable recommendation to farmers via mobile phone in their vernacular languages. So while the technology looks, very high tech, end of the day, what farmer receives is what he has to do or she has to do on their farm on a daily basis. Now, if you look at the technology itself, what we really do is we have pioneered this technology in the country. It has been 7 years for us, but now we see that change scaling really fast, and farmers are adopting this technology. So essentially, if you utilize this technology, end of the day, what you do is you save significant water, up to 60% in cases where, for example, grape and pomegranate and some other vegetable fruits and vegetable crops, which is very, very water sensitive, you save up to 60% of water. We have also seen that by, so without Fasal, the way even the way disease and pest management happens is through calendar schedule. Sometimes there is no climatic condition favorable for a pest to happen, but we still go and just, spray left, right, and center because in the fear that something will happen. When a farmer uses Fasal, he gets a real-time alert whether there's a disease coming up or not. So we calculate something called disease severity index, and we inform farmer what is the level of disease pressure on their farm. And in this way, farmers are able to reduce the cost of cultivation, the cost of input itself, which results into higher yield and better quality. Because when you give sufficient water, then you are also protecting your crop from leaching or your soil from leaching, which means that most of the nutrients are taken by the crop. And when you only spray what is needed, that effect also shows on the crop in terms of yield and quality. The system that we have developed is patented and certified. We have received multiple patents on our technology. The technology is fully certified to work in India and across the globe. We have also been accredited by IMD as well as NABL. So how does Fasal work really? There is a device that you can see it on the left. The device is nothing but a group of sensors connected together to capture data across macroclimate, microclimate, and below the soil. Macroclimatic data tells about rainfall, solar intensity, solar radiation. Macroclimate is basically what affects a large area. Then we capture microclimatic data, which is very specific to a particular farm and its canopy. It includes temperature, humidity, leaf wetness. And then we have below the soil parameters, which is your soil moisture, the soil temperature, sometimes even EC and pH. And all that data, along with data from satellite, data from radar, comes to our platform where we have written agronomic models. These are nothing but algorithms which which basically crunches the data and understands what is really happening at the farm. And then it provides farmer very actionable intelligence in terms of when to irrigate, when to fertigate, and when to take spray for disease and pest. So instead of following a calendar schedule or doing a guesswork, now farmer becomes more aware in terms of what is really, really happening at the farm, and then take only those measures which is affecting their crop growth. So the very core of our technology provides farmer five important information. First is about the growth stage modeling that we do. And all this is done by using IoT and AI behind the scene. So by the data, we identify what is the stage of the crop, what is the growth stage of the crop. So we do what we call crop growth stage modeling through variety of data that we capture, which helps us understand whether the crop is in early stage, is in flowering stage, fruiting stage, or harvesting stage, and accordingly tell farmer what is the need of irrigation, or what is the need of fertigation, or what is the chances of a particular disease and pest to come. We also do irrigation modeling, wherein we try to understand what is the soil moisture present or the availability of the water in the soil, what is the stage of the crop, and determine how much water is needed to the crop. And then we also evaluate how much water is getting lost through evapotranspiration. And putting all that data together, we recommend farmer when to irrigate and how much to irrigate. Same goes for fertigation. So every crop has a different requirement of fertigation in different stages of their growth cycle. So because we are able to track the growth cycle, we are also very precisely tell farmers what kind of fertilizer they need to put in the different stages of the crop. And through the data that we capture, we also run or analyze that data, or our crop models or crop engines analyze that data to calculate what we call disease severity or disease pressure. And based upon the pressure, we inform farmer whether there is a low chance of a disease, medium chance of a disease, or high chance of a disease. This allows them to only take the kind of spray that is needed, and also whether to take a heavy dose or a medium dose or a light dose, depending upon the disease pressure. This significantly reduces the cost of the input that they are putting in their farm. Apart from that, we also provide GIS and weather forecasting. GIS-based solution is to understand the vegetation index, to understand the farm in a more holistic way in terms of understanding which part of the farm is growing well versus which part of the farm is under stress. Currently, we have built this technology for roughly around 35 crops, and we have more than 500 plus crop models, which provides the kind of information that I spoke about. If I talk specifically about the technology, especially on the hardware side, so the technology is a mix of hardware, software, and agronomy model or agronomy insight. It has taken a lot of time for us to build a hardware which can work in India in different kind of environment and conditions that is present in India, and also at a cost that an Indian farmer can afford. So when we started, the cost of technology was very high, but over a period of time, the cost of technology also have significantly come down, as well as the features in the technology, or the technology itself has matured a lot. Currently, we have multiple solutions for multiple kind of requirement. So we have Fasal Kranti, which we primarily provides to high value customers and international customers who have the appetite for a higher cost product. But then this product is also very simple and user friendly to use. There is no wire, there is no complexity of using it. Apart from that, we also have different products for different different requirements. Currently, we have around 5 products that fulfills every kind of need that a farmer has, from a small to big to more advanced systems. If I specifically talk about the recent product that we have launched in India, it is again a very robust product that has capability of cellular and wireless area network. It can connect up to 100 plus sensors and automation systems, which can record multiple climatic parameters, soil parameters, crop parameters across the farm. So if you have a large farm, also if you have a small farm, you just need one system. If you have a large farm, you may need multiple systems, but the system is designed in a way that it does not really increases the cost significantly, right? So you can put one main system and multiple, for example, this is the main system, and then you can put multiple smaller system which communicates with the main system, and then you get a complete intelligence for your entire farm. And these systems are very advanced. As I told you in the beginning, when we started, it was a very simplified system that was just providing data and insights. But now the system has advanced so much that it has very, very strong capability in terms of also giving you data when there is no network connectivity. It has capability that if something goes wrong in your system, then we can, from sitting from a headquarter, we can update your device. Some of these systems exist in very advanced automobile companies like Tesla. We are very proud that we have brought in such kind of technologies at a cost that could be affordable for an Indian farmer. This is the smaller system that I was talking about. So if you have a large farm, you can put one bigger system and then multiple smaller system that is specifically designed for one use case. So the bigger system is designed for multiple use case. It provides you irrigation, it provides you disease and pest, it provides you fertigation. But then we also have a smaller system, which is very, very use case specific systems. So you can utilize it for, across your farm just for recording moisture or, your fruit quality sensors. I was talking about this. So when we started, we realized that, farmers were able to adopt our technology. But then when it comes to scaling the technology, they were always facing challenge in terms of the cost of the technology. Because with scale, multiple technologies were adding up more cost to their entire portfolio. So we created a system in a way that we can also create a community model. So let's say if there is a village which wants to transform agriculture into a digital agriculture with us, utilizing AI and IoT, the entire village can just adopt one main system, and then we can install smaller systems, which is very, very low cost, a fraction of cost of the main system. And then the entire village can still get the same kind of information that the bigger system provides. So all these systems talk to each other, and then farmer gets the final complete advisory from it. So we started working with farmers first, but then we also realized that agri-businesses, FPOs, FPCs also have a similar kind of requirement, but they work with large farmers, or I would say a lot of farmers. And they wanted a solution through which they can also not only provide information to farmer, but they can also derive certain important information for their aggregation, for their requirement in terms of managing multiple farms and multiple farmers together. So we created an agribusiness solution as well. We call it Enterprise Fasal. Now, Enterprise Fasal is a fasal, is Enterprise Fasal is basically a added layer on top of the existing Fasal system, wherein it provides more advanced capability in terms of multiple source of data integration. So most of these agribusinesses or FPOs or FPCs wanted to integrate their CRM and ERP systems into Fasal. That capability is available in Enterprise Fasal. There is advanced analytics. So many agribusinesses that came to us also wanted to run their own algorithms and data fusion templates on top of the data that we were collecting. And so we provided that also. Most of these companies also wanted to have a unified dashboard and a control center to monitor all what is happening across different farmers, what kind of disease and pest is happening, what kind of practices that they are following, and also instruct them what to do. So we created a control panel, sort of a dashboard for them. So starting from providing information to farmer, we have also advanced in terms of providing right kind of solution and advanced solution to agribusinesses as well. This is just a dashboard or a control center for an enterprise. So a farmer sees a very simple application on their mobile phone, but agribusinesses sees a dashboard where it tells how many devices are being deployed across across a large area and what is happening at every location. And then they can run advanced analytics. They can run advanced reporting on top of it, which basically helps them in planning their business properly. We have been grateful to be supported by many partners. Some of the names are well known in the industry. These are probably all the giants that are running the agri business in the country and across the world. We are glad to work with most of them. This is mostly about Fasal and what we do. I'm open for any questions, any doubts or anything anybody wants to ask. I'm happy to take questions if there's any.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, Mr. Anand, for a detailed presentation. So I'll now take up some questions. Okay. So few you must have already explained during your presentation. Still, I'll read out for you. So how does Fasal system work on small farm with limited connectivity?
Mhm. All right, so I'll
Let
just
it,
go back to the respective slide and explain it again.
yeah. Okay.
The question was, how does Fasal work on a smaller farm with limited internet connectivity? We
Yeah.
realized this challenge, and then we upgraded our technology in a way that even if there is no network at your farm, you can still go near the device and pull the data through Bluetooth, and you will still be able to get the advisories, for making your decision. So this functionality was not available earlier, but now we have built that because we have faced this problem multiple times in different regions where the connectivity was becoming a challenge. But with the new technology, having Bluetooth inside it, I think that problem goes away. Um, yeah.
Okay. Next question. Can Fasal's IoT sensors be used in open field as well as greenhouse farming?
It can perfectly be used in open field as well as greenhouse or any sort of protected cultivation. That's where I was talking about, how the system has evolved in last, 4 or 5 years in terms of capability as well as in terms of accessibility for different kind of um, requirements. So now we have systems which can be deployed in open field. We also have systems, the smaller systems, which can be deployed in greenhouses. We also have integrated what we call an automation. So let's say if you have a greenhouse which has a cooling pad and a humidifier, you can actually integrate through APIs or directly through the system. And you can create certain rules saying that if humidity goes below, let's say, you know, let's say 20%, maybe the humidifier has to run. Or if your temperature goes down by certain level, then certain actions need to be taken. So all that functionality is also now available inside Fasal.
Right. Okay. And what crops are best suited for AI-based monitoring by Fasal?
Oh, well, in fact, all the crops are well suited. It is just that it takes a lot of effort and time to build the solution for all the crops. So again, let me put it this way. The hardware is agnostic, right? You can put the hardware in grape or you can put the hardware in rice field. That it will collect the data. But where the core technology works is how to interpret that data and provide the right information for decision making for a specific crop. And that is where it takes a lot of effort for us to build what we call crop models. So far we have been able to build for roughly around 30 plus right now. But we are also constantly adding more and more crops, right? So it takes effort, but I think so far we have been able to do for 30 plus crops. Also in terms of the value, I think vegetable and fruits farmers uh, get more value than, let's say, a row crop, a rice and a wheat farmer. The reason, because again, is the crop economics itself. So grape, pomegranate, apple, these are very sensitive crops to climate, to water. Versus on the other end, if you look at rice or a paddy field, it's not very sensitive. You need to manage it, but it's not very sensitive. And also the cost of cultivation is very, very different, right? Grape is a very high value crop. It requires a lot of money to grow the crop versus rice is a low maintenance crop. It's not a very high value crop. So depending upon, the crop economics, one can evaluate. But this was the reason why. So when we started, we also started with fruits and vegetable first, because the cost economics was very different. Farmers were putting a lot of money into growing grapes and pomegranates and apples, and then they were able to get a lot of money. So any value addition that you do there also significantly increases. And the cost of device was also a barrier to low maintenance crops such as rice or paddy. But then when we built more advanced and more cost effective solution, now we are open for any crop, to be very honest.
Okay. And how accurate is the weather prediction and pest alert system from Fasal?
All right. So, okay, there are two parts to it. I think weather prediction is something that has always been a challenge in this country, because we do not really have the kind of infrastructure that, let's say, a European country has. We also face that challenge, but from a regular weather provider, our weather prediction is more accurate than a regular provider, because we also capture data from the farm. So we do some correction at our end in terms of providing more accurate weather prediction. But weather prediction has been a challenge. I think it will take more time and more scale to make it even more accurate. So today, if I say that somebody is 50% accurate, I can confidently say that I'm 70% accurate. But to reach to a 90%, 100% accuracy, it will require us to be present probably in every village in the India, right? Then we will have the kind of granularity of data to provide you more granular and accurate forecast. But when it comes to pest and disease prediction, I mean, that is where we are very, very accurate, right? Accuracy is again very subjective matter, but let's say if I talk about in general, if we say 10 times that a disease will or a pest will attack, at least 7 times we have seen that it attacks, right? So that is our accuracy on the disease and pest, because for disease and pest prediction, we rely on our own internal data that we capture from the devices.
Okay. And how frequently does Fasal collect and analyze data from its sensors?
Sorry, come again for the last
I'll
question.
repeat. How frequently does Fasal collect and analyze data from its sensors?
So usually we collect data at every hour, but it is configurable. So we can also collect it in every 5 minutes. But what we have seen and also found out that hourly data collection is more than sufficient. Even if you collect, let's say, 10, 12 times a day, it is more than sufficient, because the climatic parameter does not drastically changes every 5 minutes, right? And neither your soil moisture. It takes some time to, even if you water your plant, it takes some time, for soil to absorb the water, reach to a field capacity, and then start drying. So we collect it at every 1 hour. We have a possibility to collect it more frequent, but what we have seen is 1 hour is more than sufficient.
Okay. And what is the average cost for a farmer to implement Fasal's IoT system?
Correct. So earlier, the cost was definitely on the higher side, but now I think we have also built technology and modularized it in a way that a farmer can start in as less than as 8,000, 10,000 rupees also. So it goes from, I would say, 7, 8,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees. And you can see that on the screen, how it basically varies depending upon whether you're looking for a complete solution or you're looking for a one specific solution.
Okay. And yeah, how soon can a farmer expect a return on investment using Fasal's AI tools?
Within one season, most of the farmers. So today we have roughly around 5,000 plus farmers across more than a lakh acres in terms of land holding. Most of the farmers, like 96% of the farmers who have followed the practices that we recommend, have been able to recover the cost within one season.
And how does AI from Fasal help reduce I'll repeat it. How does AI from Fasal help reduce input cost like water, fertilizers, and pesticides?
All right, correct. So, okay, this is how it works. So, we just go back here. So, how does it reduces cost? Is again. So, if I just take one aspect of farming, which is about irrigating your crop. Now, irrigation is probably one of the most important activity that farmer does on a regular basis. Like every second, third day, they irrigate. And what we had seen over and over again is that most of the farmers in India were always over irrigating. Now, the problem with over irrigation is you put a lot of water which goes for a waste. And then, so again, everything is science here, and I believe the audience probably understands this way, way better. Uh, for every crop, for every soil, there are certain things that you have to take care of in terms of availability of water, in terms of field capacity, allowable depletion, and all that. Now, if you are actually putting more water, more than field capacity, it basically drains down. It drains down and it takes the nutrients also along with it, which is now not available to your crop, right? Versus if you exactly know what is the field capacity, like field capacity is how much water your soil can hold, because beyond that, everything will, it will not be able to hold and it will go down. So what Fasal does is Fasal knows, because we have sensors to tell us what is the moisture level, and based upon soil type we know that whether it is a field capacity or it is more than that. So we tell farmer that you don't really need to irrigate every second or third day, because you are basically irrigating more than field capacity, which is not helping you, because it is you're wasting water, you're wasting electricity, and you're also wasting fertilizers along with it. So you should irrigate less. So most of the farmers from 2 days, 3 days have shifted to 4 days, 5 days, sometimes 7 days, right? And with that, you are actually saving just 50% on the water itself, and a lot on the fertilizer, because the fertilizer that you were leaching earlier is now available to your crop. So your fruit becomes, your flowering, fruiting becomes, better than earlier. Same happens in pesticide. Same happens in pest and disease case. Without Fasal, you don't really know what is happening. So you follow a calendar schedule. You go and spray every second, third day for certain disease to happen, right? But when you put Fasal, Fasal tells you whether the pressure is high or low, and then accordingly you can take a preventive spray or a curative spray depending upon the disease pressure. So if you are able to prevent every disease from happen by taking a curative spray, then you already are saving a lot of cost, because you know the difference between a preventive and a curative. It's 10x the cost. What you can do in 1,000 rupees, if with a preventive spray, if you are not able to prevent it, then you have to again put 5,000, 6,000 rupees for the same kind of work, and then it will again damage your crop, right? So this is how the savings happen. It's a multifold again: irrigation, fertigation, disease, and pest. Everywhere, because you know the data, you know very accurately what is happening, when the disease is coming, when the water is enough. So you're able to save a lot in terms of irrigation and disease and pest um, input.
Okay. And do you have any success stories where farmers significantly increased their yield using Fasal?
We have thousands of success stories. We have thousands of success stories where farmers have not only increased, probably would have doubled down their income using Fasal. So what I'm sharing here is an average, or is an average case. We have seen farmer who have, so there has been multiple cases where some chili farmers in Chhattisgarh and MP region were able to manage chili so well, the irrigation, that their yield prolonged for 2 more months, and uh, their total metric ton per acre just doubled because of this. So multiple, like thousands of use cases where farmer have saved water, where farmer have saved irrigation input cost, and then the most important is where farmer have seen the result of it in terms of increasing yield, increasing quality. Another very important aspect that I want to brought it in here is the quality aspect. Now, if you look at Indian farmer, the way you sell into a market is basically a buyer will come and do a recce or a scouting of a field, and then he will put a price. Like, he doesn't give you a graded price, right? You will have A grade, B grade, C grade. He doesn't, because majority of the time, if you're not using Fasal, then you will fall somewhere in B grade or C grade. But if you use Fasal, if you use the advisories, if you follow, you will see that your grade mix significantly improves, and now you have more A grade produced. So you now get a better price because your A grade mix is higher than your B and C grade. So that is how farmer saves money as well as makes a lot of money.
Okay. Yeah. And can Fasal integrate with existing farm management apps or tools?
We can definitely do that. We have APIs to integrate any system on farm. Um, but it also depends upon whether the other application has the ability to do that or not. But yeah, we do have system wherein we can integrate multiple sources of data, multiple applications.
Okay. And so this is the last question. What kind of support is available for farmers after installation?
So after installing Fasal device, we provide 1 year service free of cost. So anything that happens with your system gets covered. Even after that also, service. So every location where we operate in, there's a ground service team that is present. So anything that happens to your system gets taken care of. Anything that happens, any further information that you need in terms of understanding the technology, understanding the data, understanding the app, we also have teams which does that. We also have agronomists located in every location to provide you more deeper understanding about how to use the data and make a decision. So there is on ground sales and service team available, which provides you all the necessary information.
Okay. And is it your apps are subscription based or how it is? And what are the charges if you are charging?
It is subscription based. So again, hardware is one-time cost, but you have to pay for subscription because collection of data also requires us to pay. That is a recurring charge that we incur, and we pass it on to farmer also for providing all the information all the time. The cost of that also varies. So for example, the simpler system cost somewhere around 100 rupees a month.
Okay.
The bigger system cost a little higher. It's around 500 to 750 rupees a month, but it starts with 700 rupees a month.
Okay. And the one-time investment thing?
So, okay. So one-time investment is starting from 8,000 rupees if you look at the smaller system. And then from next year onwards, you have to pay basically 100 rupees a month.
Okay. Okay. So this 8,000 is for the first year. At the end of first year, you're not charging anything per month charges, subscription charges, I mean.
No.
Okay. So any other things you would like to share before we wind up? Any important inputs? Maybe if you have
I definitely
forgotten.
want to share. I think one important thing to definitely highlight is that when we started back in 2018, it was us who brought this technology, who built this technology, and it took us a lot of time to also educate and aware the market that a technology like IoT and AI can significantly help and improve your practices. But over a period of time, we have seen that there's a market that has been created, and now it is about how do we quickly scale that. So I'm happy that the ecosystem has evolved a lot in terms of understanding how to advance agriculture or how to advance farming with the help of right technologies. We believe that in next 5 years, 10 years time, every farmer should have one of these systems, whether us or somebody else, but they should definitely adopt one of these systems. Because I also have a farm, I personally use it. My father has a farm, he personally uses it. And there's a drastic difference between how we were farming earlier versus how we were farming now. It is as equal as, if you don't know how to read and write, you understand, right? You cannot, if you don't have knowledge, you cannot basically do anything. But the moment you gain knowledge, the moment you have, you know how to read and write, now you can do a lot of things. So it's more about that. It's more about education and then, advancing ourselves with the technology. So I would suggest that every farmer should adopt this technology, whether us or somebody else, but definitely should adopt.
Right. Okay. Okay, Mr. Anand. So now we have come to end of question round. So on behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for a detailed presentation and very interesting presentation. And I also like to thank my editorial team for sharing the questions. We'll be ending this meeting now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, most welcome. Thank you.